It's been a minute since we've gotten a rundown of the new anime seasons, and that's mainly because nothing's really been that good. I usually focus on the newly airing shows, and honestly, from the past two seasons, the only one I've actually enjoyed was Kaiju number 8. I was fully expecting to not make another one, because on first glance, there was only maybe one or two shows from fall that I was interested in. But color me purple and call me a bitch, the season's pretty solid. And you're probably thinking like, this guy's a little bit late on this as we're going on like episodes 4, 5, some even 6, which, is true, but you don't have to say it. Main reason, there were a few other animes that had some late starts that I wanted to give a shot before making this. Regardless of what genre you're interested in, I think there's a show for you in fall 2024, which hasn't been something I've been able to say in a minute. Let me know in the comments what you're watching this season, and leave a like, because even though this season's good, I had to watch the things that were not. And also subscribe for another video now 5 months apart.
おっぱい吸わせてやるからよ。口もっとしゃぶらせろ。
Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis.
This one's a weird one. It's pretty damn good, but very weird. I kind of put Dandadan in that category of Chainsaw Man where you really don't know what is going to happen at any moment, but you enjoy the ride nonetheless. This was by far the most hyped anime of the season, and I'm glad to see it has lived up to those expectations so far. The classic debate of ghosts and aliens. Which is real? Are any of them real? Momo Ayase comes from a family of spirit mediums, and Ken Takakura... Sorry. Okarun is an occult fanatic. These two would normally not communicate, but after saving Okarun from being bullied, the two begin to talk. Of course, Momo believes in ghosts and Okarun aliens, and in order to prove that either of their side is correct, they come up with a little bet. Momo will be visiting a location associated with the extraterrestrial, and Okarun one with the supernatural. Well, a bit of weenie goblin and banana snatching later, turns out they're both right. Yeah, this first episode is it's a fucking weird one, but we don't have actual proof of how an alien or ghost would act, so it's also strangely realistic in an ironic way.
Brother, what's that?
At the end of their escapade, both students unlock powers, but some come at more of a cost. The thing that stood out the most to me from watching Dandadan was how colorful and smooth the animation was. Everything is so packed with color and bold, and it just makes these scenes feel way more eye-catching. Just in terms of animation, I love the usage of the phone flashlights in the tunnel and hospital and the constant panning around. They very well could have kept it forward-facing to make the lighting seem easier to animate, but the constant panning with glares and flashes feels way more natural. My other favorite scene was like this kick coming through the phone. We got this contrast of the red ghost and the blue aliens that showed that great color usage again. Plus, just looked fucking sick. If you usually want your first episode of an anime to show what an animation studio is capable of, Science Saru knocked it out of the fucking park. And if anything, Dandadan is going to keep you engaged. It's creepy, hype, and strangely wholesome. I'm looking forward to what other hijinks Momo and Okarun will get up to, because I really don't know where this show's going. Also, shout out Grandma.
その後ギリギリのところで全国行けなかったって聞いてよっぽど悔しかったんだろうなそんなに悔しがれるくらい頑張ったんだろうなって思うと俺もそのくらい頑張れたら
Are you crying? What's that? Are you crying? Am I crying? No, I'm not crying. You're crying.
Blue Box just seems like what would happen if you grabbed a handful of darts and threw them blindfolded at a bunch of genres. A basketball, badminton, romance, slice of life at school. I was totally prepared for this to just focus on the romance, slice of life part and leave the sports as an afterthought. Shout out Pride of Orange. I was happily incorrect. Yeah, the romance plays a big part in the show, but I was genuinely impressed with how much the sports were focused on, and more importantly, how nice they looked. The story follows Taiki Inomata, a student on the badminton team with an aspiration of nationals. When practicing, he notices an upperclassman, Chinatsu Kano, playing her heart out on the basketball team and instantly falls for her. A couple of unexpected events occur, and it leads to Chinatsu having to stay at Taiki's house while her parents are overseas. Imagine trying to become a peak athlete in your sport in high school while your crush is literally living with you. It'd becomes this hilarious mix of being the most locked and simultaneously the least locked in possible. It's a fun dynamic to see two people who are trying to be great at completely different sports push each other to the best that they can be. And I'm gonna say it, badminton been fucking slept on. That sport is actually hype as hell to watch, and I'm glad that we have gotten some more anime for it. I know there was a couple other ones, but this seems to be one of the better representations. Besides the MCs, some of the other characters are a bit forgetful, but they have been nice and relatively encouraging of our main characters. I'm not as invested in the kind of romance building part, as I graduated high school in 1894, but the interactions feel genuine, and as long as the quality of the sports keep up, I'll enjoy the show.
ほらな、そんな大層な答えなんてないんだろ。
That knocked my hat off.
As much as I love my action and fantasy shows, nothing gets me going quite like a good MILF anime. Man, I love fishing. Our story follows Tsune Hiro, a college student with crippling debt. Hey, relatable. Oh, and also he's told he's got like 2 years to live or whatever.
Fuck you! I'm fucking dying here!
He was already a bit of a shut-in, but the news of this made him think about just shutting off. One day, when evading these very persistent debt collectors, he falls from a bridge, and rather than trying to fight and swim back up, he just accepts his fate. Before he can become fish food, he's saved by Hana and Takaaki, who had been out fishing. Rather than making sure he's alright or taking him to a hospital, the group just goes back to what they were doing, casting their lines. With nothing else to do, being stranded on a barge and all, Hiro decides to join in. And from this point on, the group is in constant contact with him. It's not like they actually even sat down to get to know him. Just pull them up out of the water, boom, part of the group. Kind of made me feel like one of those memes on how guys can become friends just by walking past each other each day. For someone who has gone through as much as Hiro, it's nice to see a group so accepting of him and not even care to ask about his past or why he was drowning in the water. Even though it's gradual, this feels like a turning point for Hiro. His whole life he hasn't really lived, but now that his time is limited, might as well start. We all know life can be draining, but sometimes it's just the little things, like a new hobby, that can bring you together with the right people and change your entire perspective.
I'm both frightened and aroused.
What if you could make a living as a professional yapper? Oh wait, that's me.
I do that.
Welcome to the world of Saikyo no Shinshoku Waju Tsushi de Aru Ore wa Sekai Sakyo Clan wo Shitagaru. A fitting title for an anime about the world's best talker because you have to be one in order to say that in one breath. Noelle is a seeker, which pretty much is an adventurer dealing with jobs like killing monsters, dealing with bandits, collecting treasure, etc. After the death of his grandfather, he vowed to be the most powerful seeker in the world. But there's one issue. He's the weakest class. Noelle is the talker class, who specializes in supporting the group with various buffs and abilities. He can't become the strongest on his own, so he needs other strong people around him. His current party is promising, and they decide to start a clan to get to the next level. The night before, 2 members abandoned the group, taking all of their money with them. With no idea where they went, and probably not having the means to catch them, what do you think he does? A, cuts his losses and moves on with life, or B, still tries to go after them on his own? Trick question. It's none of them. Nope, instead he gathers all the intel he can, hires everyone in the town, tracks down his party members, berates them, embarrasses them, and sells them off as slaves where they'll have to work in the mines for the next 10 years. It's that level of pettiness that I have been searching for. Noelle seems like a pretty nice guy, but if you double cross him, you better prepare to get that back to you tenfold. I got heavy vibes from season 1 of Shield Hero from this show. A guy who just says, fuck the world, I'm looking out for myself now, and I'm gonna push aside anyone who gets in my way. I'm just hoping it doesn't finish like Shield Hero. It's nice to just see an anime where the MC talks his shit and knows he's the best at it. Phoenix Wright might be in trouble. Now he just has to surround himself with other strong and equally crazy people to create the ultimate party to become the best seeker. Like Alma. God bless.
I'm about to bust.
So the reason I waited so long to publish this was because I was waiting for a couple of shows I thought looked interesting, like Blue Mibaro and Mao 2099. Turns out, not very interesting, so I just completely wasted my time and could have had this video out like 2 weeks ago. I'd apologize, but not the first time I've taken too long to get a video out. There are a couple other shows that might interest you, however, I wasn't drawn in. Orb on the movements of the Earth is like some science heretical shit, but frankly, I'm fucking stupid and don't care about the study of heliocentrism. Terrified Teacher at Ghoul School is fine if you're alright with a comedy gag show, and Uzumaki, you could watch the first episode. In a strange and unlikely turn of events, the fall season's turning out to be one of the better ones of the year. You have a variety of shows that touch on pretty much any genre you could ask for, and a majority of them don't make me want to commit scooter ankle when viewing. Let me know in the comments what anime you're watching this season, and if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to support me further, there's my Patreon. I need to revamp it a little bit, so right now the only offers on there are a $1 and $5 option just for general support, but hopefully in the future I can create more content. But regardless, I just appreciate y'all watching. Thank you for this, and hopefully I will see you very soon.